If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new songs in the description. My man Fivio is catching some backlash on the social medias, especially on Twitter, after his, halftime performance at the latest Nets game, and we gotta break this down. Let's see what happened and also why I think a lot of these new rappers are not like made to be superstars as maybe some other people. There are a few in this new generation, but also maybe in earlier generations you had to prove that more without the internet being there to help you support it through, every stage of your career. So let's break this down. Let's see what happened. So on October 17th, the Nets in Brooklyn played the Pelicans, and Fivio was there to be in his hometown and perform at the halftime show, which in itself is a great thing, and I think a lot of people were looking forward to that. I was also excited to see Fivio because he dropped a pretty good album with the Bible thing that we got I think earlier on this year. I think around March or April, whenever that dropped, with City of Gods or what other track. I think the intro was dope. We had the What's My Name single, so there are definitely a couple of cuts on there that I was like, okay, this man is actually wanting to prove something. Also, his work with Kanye has kind of shown that he's, in the circles of people that are very relevant. But ever since then, it really, his music has just been kind of declining, and he's been just previewing new stuff all over the place, and there are snippets of him everywhere. But he hasn't really dropped anything that really had some friction to it that people really latched onto. And maybe this halftime performance was supposed to generate some hype again, but it did the inverse. It really just made people realize that maybe he's not as great as an artist as we always thought he was. But let's look at this. So there are a couple of clips going around on Twitter of him performing at the halftime show, and it's very cringe. It's hard to watch. There are a couple of things playing. We have City of Gods in there. We have the What's My Name single playing there, and you can hear him trying to rap along to the background vocals, like the playback that is playing throughout the whole stadium, but it doesn't really work. It just seems like he doesn't know his own lyrics. It's really uncomfortable to watch. I recommend you go check out the whole thing. I have a link in the description to go check out this tweet and this video, because it's really very uncomfortable to watch, and it kind of makes you feel bad for him, because people are excited that he's there. You can see he's trying to hype people up. He's trying to go. He's trying to be like, okay, let's get this, but it really doesn't work. And a lot of people expressed this after the performance, and they're like, yo, what is this? This is like your best friend, trying to do karaoke but not knowing the words. At least I saw some tweet like that. And apparently there were some audio issues. For example, Double XL writes, while Fivio had what appeared to be in-ear monitors, he had trouble keeping up with the backtrack audio playing throughout the arena. So he was actually actively trying to, keep up with what was playing in the arena, which is obviously what's your job when you're performing live at the arena. But he apparently wasn't able to, because his in-ear monitor wasn't in sync with whatever was playing. That's what created this very uncomfortable situation. But I'm not even here to talk about the details of what happened. It just happened, and maybe it's the in-ear monitor's fault that it didn't keep in sync with the playback, or it's just him being high and not really realizing that he's already a line ahead of what he's actually saying. So all of that aside, we got to talk about, how this was a terrible performance. And even aside from just him trying to keep up with the words, if I was him, and I know this is easy to say. I know this is very easy to say. If you're in the situation, you're relying on a lot of the technology, and I wasn't in that situation. But here's the easy way out. You take out the in-ear monitor, and I know that people are going to say, okay, people, that's not a very good solution, but you can take it out and still hear the playback in the arena. So stuff like that could be done to improvise on the spot and still try to deliver a very good performance. But in his case, it just felt like he gave up, and he wasn't even trying to give us a good performance anymore. And that's kind of what bothers me. Nowadays, people don't have to rely on the art of being able to perform live anymore to be successful rappers. When you go back even 10 years before we were in the whole SoundCloud age, and your song could blow up overnight just by releasing it on SoundCloud without a major record label backing it, without having a music video to it, or without having to do any performances at all, your song can just go viral overnight. And we've seen that happen with a lot of tracks like 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018 specifically, with the whole SoundCloud era thing. But even before that, There were people. Recently, we saw a tweet or like a little, news thing that Drake was recalling opening up for $100 like at the start of his career, and he kind of like just took any opportunity he got to get out there, get in people's faces and show what he got. And when you go back, when you watch performances from people in like the early 2000s, like the Jay-Z shows were always very good. Eminem always delivered a very good performance. The 50 Cent stuff was really good. But even lesser known artists, they still tried to deliver an amazing performance. And when you look at stuff like this is kind of embarrassing for the whole culture, for hip hop. And there are still people who are very much interested in giving us great performances. Kanye still, obviously, one of the GOATs. Travis Scott, obviously, also, we got to put him in there, mention him. Stuff, newer artists as well. A lot of the rage artists like go crazy on live sets. So, stuff like that is always, it's still there. It's not like the art is lost. But today you can become successful without delivering a great show just by your song blowing up on the internet. And in a lot of ways, you lose kind of the touch with like what it's like to be on stage and perform your song with the fans and having that feedback from them and being like, okay, this part goes hard, I'm gonna like jump here right there. Like, it's a whole art, it's a whole like artistic thing you got to get going on when you're on stage trying to perform a song like that. And as we can see with Fivio right here, apparently you don't need to be able to do that anymore to be a successful rapper. And I think that's kind of that's too bad, man. Like, I always enjoy live performances. I think they're something that gives a lot of character to the performances, to the songs themselves. If you have a song that has great live performance, you immediately attach that to the song while you're listening to it just on Spotify or whatever. So that's like why, to me, it's so important. Maybe we're gonna get some statement from Fivio explaining like the technical difficulties or whatever there was with the in-ear monitor, why it didn't turn out to be a great live performance. I think we'll get something like that from him on Twitter in the next couple of days for sure. If it hasn't happened yet already, let me know in the comments. But it's still, I think, kind of watching it is so uncomfortable, and it just feels like he didn't even try. And I mean, let me just say this. Someone that really would wanted this to be perfect. Let's say Kanye. Kanye is someone that I think, a lot of people can easily see wanting this to be a perfect show with everything going as he planned it. He would have rehearsed that shit like 1,000 times before it happened, even if it was just the Nets halftime game. I shouldn't even say that, but even if it's just the Nets halftime show, Kanye would have, done it 1,000 times before it went live. And it feels like Fivio just kind of rolled with it and didn't really care about it too much, which I think is too bad. But it is what it is. Let me know what you think about this. What's your thoughts on Fivio really not giving us a great performance, about rappers not having to be able to do these great live performances and sets anymore to become successful? All your thoughts on this, please let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.